Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath.
And I'm Bree.
And in this Christmas in July episode, you are sharing your Christmas in July pick. What do you want to talk to us about?
I'm here. Thanks for having me on the channel.
It's great to have you here. Thanks for being here.
My pick for Christmas in July is the movie A Christmas Story.
That's a great one. Mm-hmm. I bet A Christmas Story is a lot of people's favorites.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, you asked me to think about what I would want to talk about, and that's just the one thing that kept popping into my head because it was ever present throughout my childhood Christmases.
I like that. The plural of Christmases. You got one Christmas, two Christmases, three Christmases, and it goes on. I like that. Well, that's a really interesting point because, so it's a 1983 movie.
Right.
I was watching movies in 1983, but I don't remember that.
I didn't see that one in 83. I know we watched it as a family most every year, and I remember it from a young age. It was just one of those movies that we enjoyed as a whole family and we watched together consistently. So I think for me it has a lot of nostalgia to it because I just connect it automatically with the holiday season because it was always there.
It was always on too on television.
That was later. So as I got older, I don't know when it started, but they would show it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
For 24 hours on TNT. They would just show the movie the whole 24 hours.
American Cable Network, TNT. Ted Turner.
Yeah.
Making that.
Yeah.
It's
and
hammering.
I remember I would just leave it on. Like, I had TV in my room, and I would just turn it on Christmas Eve and just watch it until I fell asleep. Because, you know, that's one of those nights where you're like, I can't sleep. I'm so excited about the next day. So I would just leave it on. But, you know, that's a thing I do, is I'm willing to just sit and watch something over and over and over again. It doesn't bother me.
Right. It's comforting for you.
It is It's very comforting. So I guess that, too, is something I feel related to that movie. It's like a part of the holiday season, and it feels like a comfort.
So does your relationship with A Christmas Story predate that cable airing?
Yes.
So maybe you'd rent it from... You go down to the old...
We may have owned it at some point.
Oh.
That was one of the ones that we owned.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about the movie because it's one of the most quotable Christmas movies, right? I mean,
You'll shoot your eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out. Yeah. And then one of my favorites is it was soap poisoning. And they're like, oh no. There's the Scott Farkas affair.
Correct.
It's not Scott Farkas. It's Scut. Is anyone named Scut these days? Were they ever named Scut?
I'm like, I've never heard that name outside of the movie. Maybe it exists. That'd be cool to know, but I don't know. I've never looked it up.
Iconic scenes?
Feel like,
go ahead.
Yeah, there's iconic scenes. I feel like for this movie, one of the things that makes it feel like a classic, well, first of all, it's set in the 40s. 40s America.
When Christmas
began. I would say probably Midwest.
I was making a joke. I said when Christmas began, but a lot of Christmas traditions did begin in post-World War II America. Yeah. So that was a joke, but like
even
the BB gun,
the
cereals, like Annie,
like they were listening to the radio,
Little Orphan Annie and stuff. Okay.
And even though there was stuff in the movie I personally couldn't relate to because I grew up in the South. We didn't have snowy winters or Christmases. I would say
Christmases. Yeah.
And, you know, clearly I didn't grow up in the 40s with just a radio. So, and I didn't walk to school. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that I can't relate to, but I feel like the way that the story is told, there's so much that you can relate to. Like there's that one toy that you just really want. You're super worried you're not going to get it. And you're scared to ask for it because you don't want to be told no. Or just like bullies dealing with bullies, like when he beats the crap out of Scott Farkas. You know, every kid is just like, he
got what he deserved.
And dealing with his siblings, and then like different personalities of his parents, and you know, even though it's sort of all the people are portrayed in this sort of like traditional way, their role in the family. I do feel like there's a lot there to relate to. And there's also, even though, like, for example, the dad, he comes off as really hard and kind of angry.
Darren McGavin, Kolchak the Night Stalker.
But then there's also really sweet moments. So it's like, you can feel those same relationships that you have
like
with your
on Christmas
family
morning
members.
when they're opening the presents and the dad's like, oh no, not too, like he's like like there's a sweetness to it.
Well, that was when he opened the BB gun and he's like putting the BBs in the gun. Each character has its like, they're given those traditional family roles and it's almost kind of like tropes, I would say, but there are things that you can relate to with your own family members. Like, oh, I have a family member like that. And, you know, they're usually super grumpy, but then sometimes they can be really sweet. Like, have really, like, tender moments. Or even, like, you see between him and the kids and him and the mom, you know?
Yeah.
And just his excitement over the lamp. You know, it's
like the
lamp! Dumbest thing, but he's, like, so excited about it, showing it off to the neighbors. Yeah.
It's a major award!
The movie just contains so many things that you can relate to in some way or another, and that are sort of like touchstones of Christmas. Like, you know, my family member sent me this crap I don't want for Christmas. And it's supposed
There's
to be...
There's always socks for me.
Yeah, socks. They got socks in the movie. Threw them behind them as they continue to open their presents. Or just, like, even friends, like, the relationships with his friends. They're, like, his best friends, but then they, like, taunt each other, and the one kid sticks his tongue to the pole. So,
and then they leave him.
And they leave him there, yeah.
Come back! Come back!
Oh, baby, come back! Yeah. So it's just interesting, even though watching it as an adult, you know, when you're a kid, it just has these joyful and fun moments. And you also feel kind of like you're getting away with something, like when he says the F word and he
says fudge. His
mom washes his mouth out with soap and calls that other mom.
That's one of my favorite parts is when you hear the phone call and it's like, oh, dear mom, what is it?
Yeah. It's funny too when she's like, do you know what he said? And she tells the mom, and then she's like, do you know where he heard it? And she's like, well, he heard it from his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then when you watch it as an adult, it's funny because you're like, wow, those kids are mean to each other.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, but
we were. We were pretty rough with each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a modern thing. I think that, you know, kids are just rough with other kids.
Yeah, they totally
I don't know that anybody's beating up Scut Farkas on the playground these days, but they did when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You would like, oh, fight, and then you'd go get, like, there's a fight, and everybody come gather around. And...
Yeah. So you have a different perspective as an adult, but it's still enjoyable and a fun holiday watch.
That's a great, so yeah, we can wrap it up, but I just want to add on to that. I think what it does really well is that it has the warmth of the Christmas season, but it also has a lot of humor, and it's not like super sanitary. Like you do show it to kids.
Sappy.
Yeah, you would show it to kids, but it's not like you don't go like, well, here's Elf, and then here, like it's Peter Billingsley in Elf, by the way. We didn't even mention that. But like it has a little bit more of an edge to it. It just feels a little bit more realistic.
It feels more edgy and realistic, but yet it also has those heartwarming moments.
Yeah.
You know, so as watching it as a kid, you don't feel like, well, this is just a Hallmark holiday movie. Stupid. You know, when you're a kid, you're like, it feels like fun and edgy and interesting, but it's still enjoyable as an adult if you're looking for something more heartwarming and Christmassy.
Excellent. Well, Bree, that's a great pick, and I love what you had to say about it. So thanks for sharing that with all of us out here. So you guys stay tuned. Christmas in July continues all throughout the month, and this was a blast. Can't wait to see what's next. And continue the conversation about A Christmas Story in the comments below. What do you guys think about the sequel? There was a sequel. Most of us do not acknowledge that it exists, but if you've watched it, what do you think about it? Do your eyes burn when you think about it? I'd love to know. But guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bree, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, and until next time, we will catch you later. Snippet.